Hey, welcome to Watch Club. I'm Chris. We're talking Cloak and Dagger. I'm joined, of course, by Mariam.
Hello.
Yes, there we are. Cloak and Dagger, Season 1, Episode 6. Mariam, what'd you think of the episode?
Not my favorite.
Not my favorite either. No. It might have been the weakest. It's like it both had the most potential and the most happening, and also it was not as good. No. I feel like right now we're at a point in the season where the characters are well established. What they want is clear. They're oriented towards their bigger goals, like busting Connors and investigating Roxxon. And now the writers are at a point where they can start complicating those matters, those issues, and expanding on the universe. And they do expand in maybe a semi-effective way. I'm not sure, but we find out that there's a mystery substance that burns hotter than oil.
Oh, yes,
and Mina Hess is all over that. We find out from Clarice and Evita, who we've been calling Beth, but her name's Evita. Oops. That there's going to be some big destruction involving the city, and that one of our heroes will die.
There's a prophecy.
Yes, there is a prophecy of sorts. And yet the episode was not that exciting. No,
and I think that it did a little bit of a disservice with the kind of narration by, I was going to say Beth's aunt, right. Evita's aunt.
Yeah.
Just kind of almost spoon-feeding us step by step. This is going to happen, this is what's happening. And it was a little bit too much exposition for me, especially because what we liked so much about the first 4-ish episodes was that it didn't do that. And now it's almost like they're taking the easy way out a little bit, being like, here's what's going to happen, and then this is going to happen, and then that's going to happen.
Yeah, they took some narrative shortcuts, I felt, or rushed things, just like how I felt like they rushed when Tyrone revealed to Dwayne that he knows about Connors.
Yeah.
That whole scene was kind of a mess to me. But there were some great moments in this episode, I thought. We saw more of Tyrone's powers.
Yeah.
That's cool. Seems like he still doesn't have the hang of teleporting, but when Connors was shooting at him, he was able to.
Yeah.
So it was weird. It was like he phased in and out, and then poof.
And then he was in the church. No cloak involved.
No cloak.
No cloak.
Which kind of like, I don't know, maybe when he gets the cloak, it'll help him control it.
Maybe there's another part there that we're not fully understanding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to see a little cloak involved. We see a lot of Dagger. I mean, that's the cool thing too. Tandy has got control over her powers at this point. She can get that dagger out whenever she needs it, get rid of it.
She can turn on the hope vision.
Yep.
But one, I think it was a development in Tyrone's powers, is we've seen in the past that when he sees people's fears, it kind of stuns them or whatever. Like we saw that on the basketball court. But when he saw the drug dealer's fears, he was actually active within the vision. He was blocking the doorway, preventing him from running away within that nightmare. And it seemed like it had more of an effect on the drug dealer. So.
And what was that fear?
That might be my favorite scene, because it was like, ooh, this is like a much more vivid and less obvious fear. Like he's not afraid of war or his abusive father, but some kind of it looked like some sort of a Mardi Gras parade monster.
Yeah.
And
then a tisket, that was in the background. It was super creepy.
Yeah, I wonder. It made me think like, one, is there going to be some sort of a monster in the show? But then also, why does the drug dealer know about that monster? I don't know.
And then I'm wondering, is it like just a kind of metaphor for some sort of all-encompassing fear of I don't know what? But I'm wondering, are we going to come back to this, or are we going to just kind of leave it as something in someone's head, someone's nightmare? I don't know. But it was a little bit more abstract.
I hope that we're going to see more of that monster, because it was pretty cool. What were some of your favorite moments?
Well, I wouldn't say it's my favorite moment, but
a
standout moment would definitely be when O'Reilly shoots Dwayne. Because you don't really you kind of hope it's going to go a different way, at least to kind of have more of an understanding of Dwayne's kind of relationship with Connors. I kind of want to explore that a little bit. Why, when he was there, we find out when Tyrone's brother Billy dies. So it would have been neat to kind of find out a little bit more of how that relationship developed. We still may be able to find out at some point. But of course, Connors is the bigger, badder guy. And so, of course, he can't die yet. So it's a little bit stressful and frustrating to see Dwayne go and Tyrone witnessing again another person who's close to him, close to his brother, shot by a police officer, even though it was a setup more or less by Connors.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I think, you know, my message from that episode is answer your phone if someone's calling you. It doesn't matter if you're on a
also, if
stakeout.
they don't answer, send a text.
Send a text, Tyrone.
Exactly. If you had texted, don't go in there, of course she's going to call you back.
Yeah,
like, wait, what do you mean? Yeah, anything.
Yeah,
like, he's got a gun. It's danger, anything.
Get it together, Tyrone.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, he's a kid. He knows how to text.
Yes.
He probably texted before he talked.
Tandy would have sent a text.
Tandy would have said, be more like Tandy, Tyrone. Take more Tandy lessons.
I can't believe I'm the one saying this.
Yeah, right? So here's the thing I think about Dwayne getting shot is, one, will this be like a big thing for O'Reilly, or will this just be another locker room, no concussion beat down, right? Where it's just kind of like glossed over, oh, I shot a guy, back on the job tomorrow, or is she really going to be affected? Because we saw her be really affected.
She was definitely remorseful.
Yeah.
She looked at the body, and you could tell that she was kind of like, what have I done?
Yeah.
So
I don't know, but the other thing is, if this means that we're going to see less like street crime in the show, I think it's good, because I just didn't buy. I don't think the show is good at portraying street crime. Not in a world where like shows like The Wire have already existed, right? Like I'm a big fan of The Wire, and just the way that the guys were standing there on the corner, I'm like, this doesn't square with how The Wire like outlines how these corners run. You know, you would have had a guy anyway, all sorts of things would have been different if this were The Wire. I hope we don't see more street crime dramatized. I want to point out, I think we haven't really talked about it much on this show yet. Olivia Holt is fantastic. Yeah. I think she's a fantastic actress. I think that she's given like a lot of corny lines, but she knows just how to do them so that they come out natural and they come out believable. I feel like she hits every moment that's given to her. Like if she has to cry, if she has to be funny or charming or dangerous or sexy, she can pull off any of that. And she's only like 20 years old. Yeah. She's got like the poise and the I don't know what to call it, the craft of someone who's been acting a lot longer than her. Right.
I also think. Oh, sorry.
Aubrey Joseph, who plays Cloak, less so, but they're still good together.
They're still good together, and I think that they do kind of complement each other a little bit. But I do agree. I think Olivia Holt's been doing a good job. Her character arc has been interesting. We're going from kind of this like disaffected youth, you know, I hate the world, to kind of someone who's really active and taking charge of this kind of investigation and really getting in there. So that's been an interesting progression to watch for her. Yeah, for Tyrone, it's like, you know, I think that he's had a lot to work with in the first couple of episodes, but since then it's kind of not been as interesting for Tyrone. But now it seems like it's coming back up a little bit. So I'm hoping the next episode we see a little bit more. But yeah, not as great. We got a lot of comments about his monotone voice. Yeah,
people keep saying he's monotone. Yeah. To me, it's not the monotone that bothers me so much. It's mumbling. Like, I can't understand a lot of the things he says.
And people in the comments do seem to like Olivia Holt as well, so, you know, there you go.
So in the last episode of Watch Club, we inaugurated a new segment, which is the clunky line of the episode. Because the writing in the show can be a bit uneven, there were a few nominees.
Yes, I had when Mina, Hess, and Tandy were together, and the little bee sits on her shoulder, and Mina says, "Hi, bee." And the bee flies away. "Hi, bee."
Yeah, I think the writers struggle a little bit with writing good dialogue for Mina Hess, because the clunky line of the episode comes from her, and it is,
"Well, someone's got to make lemonade out of assholes."
What does that even mean?
I don't know. And that's your clunky line of the episode.
So what I really like about Cloak and Dagger is that it doesn't take place in New York, which is often kind of a location for superhero movies or TV shows. It takes place in New Orleans, and we've discussed this before, and that's kind of a cool location. It has a lot of history. It's very rich. And in this episode in particular, there were a lot of references to the city. So when Mina Hess and Tandy were talking, they talked about how the city always comes back. Like, no matter what happens, the city comes back. And then Tyrone and Dwayne are talking, and Dwayne talks about it as being a city of survivors. And, you know, a city of people who always rise up no matter what the world throws at them. And that section also had a little bit of foreshadowing, saying whatever you put out, it comes back, meaning that he was involved to a certain extent with Connors, who had killed Billy, and he was a witness, and he didn't say anything. So that kind of came back to him pretty hard this episode. But I think that it's interesting. I mean, to talk about New Orleans and is such a big part of Evita and her aunt's part as well. The voodoo section, there's a lot of talk about that in the first couple of episodes. So I think it's really cool to see New Orleans as playing a bigger role in the plot and in the kind of character development as well.
Yeah, I agree. I hope that they can flesh out like what it is about the city other than you know, it keeps coming back, coming back
true.
again.
Yeah.
But it seems like that's going to tie into the overall arc. Like if these two, as Evita and Clarice seem to think, are like the harbingers. I don't know how to say that word, of the doom and destruction that will come. How is that gonna happen? And speaking of which, we should talk about like what will happen. Evita and Clarice say one of them will die.
Yeah.
Do you wanna put money on who it's gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Who's gonna die?
If someone dies.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like would we call Cloak after this, or Dagger? I don't know.
Yeah, just Marvel's Cloak.
But maybe the one who comes closest will be Tandy.
Sure, I'll say Tyrone.
Okay.
There we go. One of us will be right, one of us will be wrong. Tune in to the end, to the series finale.
Yeah.
A few years from now, maybe, and we'll find out.
Then we'll know.
That's right. But you know what? I feel like this show could probably pull off resurrection somehow.
Right.
The other thing is, what is the mystery substance? I think it's tied to the sort of dark energy, dark matter that flows off of Tyrone and is like powering his powers.
Okay.
So I think it's that, because we see in Ivan's vision, right? What's her name? Tandy has a hard time touching the vault door because of the black stuff coming off of it. And they highlight at the end of the episode that like they have a hard time touching.
Yeah.
You know, she wants to go comfort him, but they can't because you know, it's like two magnets, the similarly charged magnets. That's right, repel. Opposites should attract, but now they repel. So
Maybe
much
they're becoming
paradox.
too similar. I think I'm interested to see what happens with Mina Hess and Tandy. Are they going to team up? Are they going to, is Mina Hess going to become more involved? I'd be curious to see that. They also passed the Bechdel test today.
Hey, look at that.
They did it. Woohoo! So Mina Hess and Tandy Mina Hess and Tandy spoke about topics other than men.
Yep.
And so that was cool. But yeah, I'm wondering, is Mina Hess going to become more involved? Is she going to understand about Tandy's powers, or is she going to know in as much that Tandy is trying to find out what happened to her dad?
Yeah, I wonder. Those are all good questions. Tell us in the comments what you think. What is this mystery substance? Who is going to die? Will Mina be in on the powers? What do you think? What's going on here? And what do you think of this episode?
Yeah.
Are you going to keep watching? I wouldn't be surprised if this episode made some viewers go,
Drop
not
off
so
a little
much.
bit.
But then again, it moves the story along, so maybe a lot of people will stick with it.
And what's going to happen with O'Reilly?
Yes.
Will she get in trouble? That's the other thing.
I don't know.
But,
all this and more. But hey, leave us a comment. Let us know. Like, subscribe to MojoTalks, and we'll see you again next Friday.